My name is Adam. After becoming a working adult, I married the woman I met and have been blessed with a daughter, leading a happy life. However, now that my daughter has become a middle schooler, my wife has gone on a trip with her friends for a break. Spending time alone with my daughter is a rare occurrence, maybe once every few years, so it feels strangely tense. Besides, I can't cook at all, so as I'm wondering what to do for dinner, my daughter makes a request. Papa, I want to go to that teppanyaki restaurant we visited with Mama, but we only went there for Mama's birthday. It's not the kind of place you go to on just any day. Isn't today special because it's just the two of us? Who knows if we'll have a day without Mama again? Well, maybe you're right. Let's go. Please, Papa. All right. I know it's not ideal, but I can't say no when my daughter pleads like that. So, I ended up getting talked into going to a fancy teppanyaki restaurant that we usually only visit for special occasions. Normally, my wife would probably scold me if she found out, but she's away on her trip, so I guess it'll be fine this time. As we enter the fancy teppanyaki restaurant, there's my middle school classmate, Johnson. I didn't find Johnson to be a pleasant personality because he looked down on everyone during our high school reunion, just because he was studying at a prestigious university. I tried to pass by without being noticed, but just at that moment, he turned around and saw me. Adam, is that you? I thought I was familiar with your face. Hi, long time no see. Papa, do you know him? He's a classmate from my middle school days. Adam, you have a daughter, huh? Nice to meet you. I'm Emily. Surprised to see that the daughter of a low-educated person like Adam is so well-mannered. Johnson hasn't changed since then. He's still the same as he was. He's still arrogant and looks down on me. This is exactly why I didn't want to be noticed. You don't have to say that in front of my daughter. Besides, my education level has nothing to do with her. Low education means low income, right? Surprising you can provide a satisfactory education. Do you enjoy looking down on people so much? I can understand a feeling of being looked down upon. Could you explain it explicitly to someone highly educated like me? As he says this, Johnson just keeps laughing. It seems more like he just wants to mock me rather than truly understand. Being looked down upon in front of my daughter makes me feel pitiful. I try to change the subject to alleviate the situation a bit. By the way, are you married, Johnson? I don't believe in marriage. If I mentioned that to a woman, won't they all become interested in my social status? Don't you ever think about having kids? It's like having a mini-me, and it's a great feeling of happiness. Don't push your average Joe feelings on me. I have my own wonderful sense of life, and I don't need kids to be happy. Well, I'm not trying to push my feelings on you. Just wanted to say that this is another form of happiness. The happiness felt by someone with a low education doesn't resonate with me at all. I'm living a happy life playing around with various women. If that's what you think, that's fine. Johnson doesn't seem to take in what I'm saying, just outright dismissing it. He probably has no interest in what someone with a lower education than him has to say. He claims he's chosen not to marry, but I think it's more because of his difficult personality that no one comes close to him. Even at the high school reunion, no one initiated a conversation with Johnson. But apparently, he is unaware of the issue with his personality. Why on earth is someone with a lower income like you here at this fancy teppanyaki place? I usually come here only for special occasions, but I'm here today because my daughter asked. Oh dear, please don't push yourself to the limits. Some people find that sticking to supermarket meat is more practical. Having kids can indeed bring challenges. I think your perspective might change if you had kids. And I'm not here pushing my limits. Are your earnings half of mine, aren't you? I'm aware that graduates from colleges with that kind of academic level often end up in low-paid jobs. Moreover, having a child means additional expenses. You don't need to worry about that. And it's not half. While you may want to appear cool in front of your daughter, please don't lie. It's probably less than half of what I make. I don't know about your salary, but mine is enough to afford places like this. Then what only come here on special occasions? Must be because your salary is low. Stop with the pointless lies. No matter what I say, Johnson keeps responding in a way that shows he's looking down on me. I'm fine being looked down upon, but I can't accept that he won't even listen to what I say. If he's graduated from a prestigious university like the University of California, Berkeley, and works in a top-ranking company, I'd expect him to at least have a decent conversation. Thinking that any more conversation would only humiliate my daughter, I decide to leave Johnson's table. Well, we're going to eat, so see you around. Wait a minute, we've just reunited. Let's talk for a while. I don't have anything to talk about with you anymore. Sure, a low and a high-educated person don't have much in common, but we can still talk about our school days, right? Without even trying to understand what I'm thinking, Johnson rudely walks into the private room I reserved. My daughter and I were supposed to spend special time together, and I even reserved an expensive private room. It's disastrous. I'm running out of patience, but I don't want to raise my voice in front of my daughter. Reluctantly, I try to persuade Johnson. If you know we don't have anything in common, why not go somewhere else? Why bother talking to a low-educated person like me? Fine, I'll put up with talking to you. Besides, your wife isn't here today, so it's a good opportunity. By the way, who did you come to this restaurant with? You must have a partner since you are here, right? Well, actually, my plans changed and I ended up not having anyone to dine with. Is it like a business dinner got postponed? Well, something like that. Johnson seems flustered for some reason. There's probably a different reason for his plans getting cancelled, but honestly, I don't care. All I want is to spend a happy time with my daughter sitting quietly next to me. If you don't have plans, why not go home? This room is reserved just for my daughter and me. I didn't order a course dinner for you. This is my favorite place. They'll make adjustments. Don't worry, I'll pay for my own, so I won't hurt your pool wallet. I'm getting really tired of his self-centeredness. I've reached my limit, so I decide to tell him straight. It's not about that. I want to spend time with just my daughter, so please leave. Raising your voice like that, typical of a low-educated person. That's why you'll never be part of the upper class. I don't aspire to be part of the upper class. Moreover, as you claim, if you are truly educated and competent, you should be more empathetic and considerate in your actions. Of course, I switch on that mode at work, but right now, I'm just chatting with an old school friend, so I don't want to turn on that exhausting switch. Even someone as highly educated as Johnson gets tired just by being considerate. I thought you were more capable than that. Frankly, I'm disappointed. Shut up. You don't need to say that. I'm a competent person at work, so there's no problem. Anyway, I want to enjoy my time with just my daughter, so please leave. While I comprehend that my presence may be vexatious, there's no necessity to express it so strongly. No matter what I say, it doesn't seem to resonate with Johnson at all. I think it's a waste of time to continue this conversation. Just as I'm about to leave to enjoy my time with my daughter, Emily, who had been silent until now, suddenly starts to speak. She must have reached her limit listening to all this. Papa, I've been listening, and even as a middle schooler, I completely understand what you want to say. However, he seems to be grasping nothing. You should fire this man right away. Hearing Emily's words, tears start to well up in my eyes. I'm impressed by her ability to see things so objectively. She's already in middle school, so it's natural, but I didn't realize she had grown so much. Indeed, if you can understand this much, maybe you're not doing great at work after all. I think so. You, Papa, are trying so hard to talk, and he doesn't seem to notice at all. At this, Johnson starts laughing loudly. I can understand what's so funny. His attitude, starting to laugh right after Emily's statement, made me upset. Why are you laughing? Because the idea of me getting fired is just too funny, no matter who hears it. What's funny about it? That's exactly why you should be fired. You're still in middle school, so you might not understand the ways of the world. But unlike your father, I am a very competent person. There's no way I'd get fired. Johnson talks to Emily in the same condescending way he talks to me. I guess Emily's words must be right on target, rather than amusing. He laughs it off, probably to keep his sanity intact. Since he started targeting Emily, he clearly seems more agitated. While you have a higher educational background than me, it's not clear how the world would judge us as individuals. That's right. Just like Papa said. For now, I think Papa is more competent than you, and I want to follow him. Johnson laughs loudly again at this. That's because Adam is your father, naturally. In the eyes of the world, I'd be the one to fire at him. Laughing at a middle schooler's words so seriously suggests that you're struggling at work, aren't you? There's no way that's true. I'm a graduate of a prestigious university, a highly educated person. I handle any job better than anyone. To me, you don't seem like someone who can handle work that well. I still think you should be fired if you work in a company. Why do you think I should be fired, Emily? Just because I don't seem like a competent person to you. You're just guessing based on looks and vibes. What does a middle schooler know? Johnson seems really bothered by being called out by a middle schooler. If he were truly successful at work, he wouldn't take this so seriously. I guess he might not be doing as well at work as he claims. I said you should be fired because, like Papa once said, bad actions always come back to haunt you. I see. You remembered what I said. Why does that conversation lead to me getting fired? That doesn't make any sense. It's because you've always looked down on Papa. Emily's words gave me a surge of courage. She had bravely stood up for me, so I should stand up too. It's his fault for being low educated. I haven't done anything wrong. No, regardless of education, looking down and mocking others is wrong. Even with a high education, don't you understand that? Johnson, unable to respond to my words, stood there with a frustrated expression. He probably realized my point was valid and couldn't find a comeback. It seems like you understand that yourself. Knowing it's wrong and still doing it is the worst thing a person can do. You're cocky. After all, you're just a middle schooler. One shouldn't do to others what they wouldn't want done to themselves. At that, Johnson lost his patience and started shouting back. I was moved to see my daughter so mature and righteous. I had always known she was growing up well, but I didn't expect her to have such a strong sense of justice. I want to spend more time with her, watching as she continues to grow and mature. Both of you shut up. Always whining, despite being low educated and low income. Education is everything. I'm the most important because of mine. Holding on to that mindset won't do you any good. That's probably why you're not married. I'm not married because I choose not to be. If I wanted, I could marry anyone. I don't think anyone would want to marry someone like you. If it was someone kind like Papa, I think they could marry anyone. What do you know? You're just a middle schooler. There's a lot you won't understand until you reach adulthood. Anyway, your father is a failure. Johnson became so heated that he began uttering completely illogical statements. His response is so emotional that it's hard to believe he's highly educated. He must be really upset about what we said to him. The fact that he's so affected by what a middle schooler said to him suggests that he's not used to being spoken to like this. There's no need to say that much to a daughter. You're an adult. Don't get angry over something like that. I think people who call others failures can't be good people. After all, Papa and Mama would never say such a thing. You might not say it in front of Emily because it's a bad influence, but I'm sure you say it behind her back, being low educated and all. Why would I need to say something like that? I've never called anyone a failure in my life, and I've never even felt the urge to. You might want to look cool in front of your daughter, but lying isn't good. Papa would never tell such lies, would he? Unlike you, he wouldn't call someone a failure. Hearing Emily's words, Johnson seemed to realize how pathetic it was to argue with a middle schooler and fell silent. He must have regretted getting so heated and realized his mistake. After all, it's embarrassing to argue intensely with a girl more than 10 years younger. Anyway, I'm much more capable than Adam, so no matter what I do, I won't get fired. Geez, you really don't understand, do you? Well, it's fine, but you should grow up a bit. It's you who needs to grow up. While we were talking, other customers started entering the restaurant. I realized we might have been a bit too loud. But then, one of the customers entered our private room. I couldn't see the person's face well from where I was sitting, but as soon as Johnson saw them, his expression changed. Why is the CEO here? Turns out, the customer was the CEO of the company Johnson worked for. I came for a small business dinner. But why are you here? I had some business too, but it was canceled, so I thought I'd have dinner with an old classmate I happened to meet. He said he had a work-related dinner appointment, but for some reason, he is trying to hide from the CEO. His behavior was obviously odd, so I decided to delve deeper to uncover the truth. Didn't you say you had a dinner meeting, Johnson? Why hide that from the CEO? As soon as I said that, the CEO entered the room. I thought I recognized that voice. It's been a while, Adam. Mr. Taylor. I had no idea you were the CEO of Johnson's company. I was surprised to hear your voice too. What a coincidence. Johnson looked puzzled, not understanding why the CEO and I were familiar with each other. He probably doesn't know why the CEO and I are on good terms. It's unexpected, so it's no wonder he's confused. Then, as if he had managed to clear his thoughts a little, Johnson interjects. Why is the CEO speaking in a modest manner to this guy? There's no need for you to address someone with such a low level of education in that manner. When Johnson said that, the CEO's face turned furious. What are you talking about? Adam is an executive at one of our major clients. Johnson was clearly caught off guard by this unexpected turn of events. It's understandable, considering he had been looking down on me, only to find out that I held a higher position. Mr. Taylor, I was keeping that under wraps. Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea and just blurted it out. That's totally fine. Sorry, Adam, but if I didn't reveal your position, Johnson wouldn't stop his disrespectful behavior. Thank you for your consideration. Why is Adam an executive at a client company? How can someone with a lower education than me hold such a position? That's impossible. Just because you lied doesn't mean everyone else does. Besides, Papa is an important person at his company. How did it come to this? Johnson seemed unable to comprehend the situation, completely blindsided by the revelation. Indeed, Johnson has much better educational background compared to mine, but the world doesn't revolve around education alone. Johnson probably doesn't want to accept the truth. Seriously, I'm disappointed in Johnson for looking down on someone without even knowing who they are. I had high expectations for him as a professional, and it's a shame. Mr. Taylor, you may not need to go that far. From what I've heard, Johnson is highly educated, so he should be capable of performing well in a company, right? No, this guy is a burden to the company. He can do his job properly, and yet he's all talk, causing trouble for the other employees. Hearing this, Johnson tries to interrupt in panic. He must have a lot he doesn't want to be heard. Just a while ago, he was acting all high and mighty, but now he looks like a completely different person. Excuse me, sir. You can't say such things. I have the highest education in the company, and I excel in my work. Please review my performance and credentials properly. You came here for a business dinner today, right? That sounds like you're pretty capable. At that moment, the CEO starts laughing loudly. How come we let Johnson handle our business dinner? There must be some mistake. You lied to me. What's the real reason you come here? I can't say that. There's something going on. You're lying just to pretend you are more capable than me. Your character traits are truly hopeless. Lying to a client's executive. That's too bad. I can't help you. Do you really need to go that far? Yes, he is a client's executive, but to me, he's just an old classmate. Even if he's your classmate, that doesn't give you the right to look down on him. That's where one's character shows. Your daughter just told you that. You have been reprimanded by a middle schooler. You should be ashamed as a grown-up. Unable to respond to the CEO, Johnson falls silent again. Now that all his lies have been exposed, he must be devastated. If I hadn't run into you here, none of this would have happened. If you act like that at work too, this was bound to happen sooner or later. I agree with Adam. Regarding this matter, I'll make sure this incident is noted in your performance evaluation. Wait, that's... Even Johnson, who had been so arrogant until now, seems helpless after being directly reprimanded by the CEO. He looks pale and desperate. I guess the situation has gotten more serious than what he expected and is out of his control. Everyone will feel the same naturally. Who could have imagined that looking down on a classmate would result in dragging down one's own performance evaluation score? Papa was right after all. What did Papa teach you? If you do something bad, it comes back to you. Teaching such words, you must be a good father. And remembering what you were taught. You are a very smart girl. I'm impressed. Seeing the CEO praise Emily warms my heart. Parenting is sometimes tough, but raising kids uplifts me, pushing me to keep going. Thank you for your encouraging and heartwarming words. I didn't expect her to grow up this much. I'm impressed too. I have many kids, and I understand how hard parenting can be. If you need anything, Feel free to ask. Really? Thank you. Please take good care of Papa. If a cute daughter like her says that, I'd want to do anything for her. CEO, in light of her cuteness, could you please go easy on my performance evaluation? Why does her cuteness affect your performance evaluation? Don't take advantage of anything in your favor. That exact part of you will also be noted in your performance evaluation. I really don't like your cunning behavior. Oh no, if you had been sincere from the start, none of this would have happened. Johnson, maybe feeling ashamed after being told this by me, retaliates with all he's got. It's surprising that he's still reacting like this even after being told his actions will affect his performance evaluation. He really is an emotional person. I know that. But there are no do-overs in life. You might not understand, being someone like you. It seems you're not reflecting at all. I was considering being a bit lenient in the evaluation if I saw some remorse in you, but that's disappointing. CEO, please don't say such things afterward. It's impossible to react when you say it later. That's why, like Papa said, it's best to always be sincere, no matter the situation. That's true. Always being sincere means even if someone catches a moment of your life, it won't be a negative one. That's true, but if you continue to argue, I might have to consider demotion. Do you have to go that far? What exactly did I do? Your terrible attitude towards a client's executive alone is quite a problematic act, considering that he is my classmate. But first of all, if he possesses conventional wisdom, he would never mock or look down on someone. Such actions are unacceptable. That is, eventually, Johnson seems to have gained some understanding and shows a bit of remorse. His attitude and mindset are causing this issue, so he should definitely reflect on his own mistake. If only I had known it would turn out like this, I should have just left instead of getting involved. Papa kept asking you to leave us alone, but you insisted, saying no, and it led to all this. So, Johnson was here for that reason. I'm sorry for interrupting your precious time with your daughter. Let me take care of today's bill. I appreciate your generosity, but please don't feel bad for us. Thank you for understanding. I'd like to treat your daughter to a meal. I hope that's okay with you. Thank you. Emily spoke up first, so I accepted the CEO's offer. If I insist on paying my bill this time, it might cause him to lose face in front of them, I thought. I truly appreciate your offer, I replied. By the way, Johnson, you said you were here for a dinner meeting, but what was the real reason? Johnson now understands he can no longer be dishonest with the CEO and starts telling the truth. I was here to meet a girl I connected with on a dating app. However, after some casual conversation, she left. Hearing this, I couldn't hide my surprise. But you were just saying you didn't want to get married. Well, that's, just failing at dating and being too proud to admit it, huh? That's right. Oh dear, you're nuts. You're lying through your teeth. We can tell whether you're speaking honestly or not. As a company, this is very concerning. If you want to get married, just be honest about it. Wanting to get married isn't strange at all. Honestly, when my dating match ran away, I thought I'd never get married. But seeing Adam and his daughter talk made me want to get married after all. I'm glad to hear that. Even if you've changed your heart, it won't lift up your performance evaluation score. Yes, I'm prepared for that. Johnson looks like a shell of himself. Having lost his dating match and expecting his performance evaluation to plummet, he must be feeling utterly dejected. I guess we're being a nuisance here, so we'll excuse ourselves. Sorry for the disturbance. No problem. Thank you for treating us. Please take care of Adam in the future. As I said that, the two of them left the private room. Then, as if on cue, my wife entered the room. Who were the people leaving this room just now? Just an old classmate I ran into and Mr. Taylor, a CEO I know. But why are you here? After parting ways with my friends, I checked my phone and saw a message from Emily saying, Papa is being harassed. Please come help. I'm sorry to have caused you worry like that. I just couldn't stand seeing you being harassed. He really made my blood boil. I had no idea Emily initiated that for me, so I felt a wave of happiness. At the same time, I regret letting her go through such a horrible experience. But anyway, no major issues now. Well, we're at such a nice restaurant. Why don't we enjoy some mouth-watering food? Sure, you know, the CEO who just left has offered to treat us today. You always work so diligently. He returned his gratitude to you in the form of kindness. Like you said, if you do something bad, it comes back to you, but if you do something good, that comes back too. That might be true. If you live your life doing good for others, people around you will treat you kindly. Then I'll make sure not to do anything bad and be kind to everyone around me. I'm glad to see how well Emily has grown up. Without the incident that happened to us today, I would have never realized it. The incident involving Johnson turned out to be a precious learning opportunity for my daughter. It provided us with a real-life lesson. I'm inspired to continue living a life that sets a good example for her.